Hey, YouTube. Jeepin Bubba here. Sorry if it's a little fuzzy. We got fluorescent lighting, and we're on the laptop. We got Brandon, and we got Johnny. And Avery's heading off here in the corner. Come on over, Shelby. He doesn't want to be on camera. We're in the office here. Come on in all the way. So we're in the office here at Black Bear Off-Road, and we're about to do a podcast, but I thought it would be awesome to do a live stream on YouTube because I didn't really have a video plan for this week. So I thought, why don't I just live stream one of our podcasts? And so the idea, hey, Daniel, what's up, man? I can see you guys' comments on the side of the screen, so shoot some comments over. But these guys are, well, you'll hear in the podcast, but we're going to do a Q&A. Those guys are asking me questions. So if you want to hang in, you can watch us film a podcast live. And we'll see. If I can see your question during the podcast, I might even answer one of your questions. But what's up, Team SUV? We're going to get cranking here on the podcast. And this is how a podcast normally gets filmed unless we do it with somebody out of state. So I use the Anchor app, and we just hit record. And so, yeah, we're going to start recording. Now, this will come out tonight, maybe tomorrow, and you can see it on Spotify or iTunes or whatever it may be. So you guys don't have to be huddled up. You can spread out if you want to. But anyways, and there's a guy named William who's stopping by for a shirt. So in the middle of this, he might just bust through that door. But that's okay. We can handle it. We can handle it. All right. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Jeepin Bubba podcast. I'm your host, Brad Coron, also known as Jeepin Bubba. And today, well, we're continuing that interview series I was talking about. We are going to be doing a live Q&A with three different guys from the Black Bear Off-Road Trail Team. We got three different guys that are friends, but also have been customers of Black Bear Off-Road. And we're recording this from the office of Black Bear. So kind of something special. We're gearing up. We're headed to Windrock this weekend. But I got three different guys with me here. I'm going to introduce them individually and have them say something a little bit about their vehicles. And then we're going to flip the script, and they're going to be asking me the questions. And we're doing it kind of impromptu because they prepared the questions, but I have not seen them. So it's going to be kind of live for you. And we're also recording this live on YouTube. So you'll be hearing this post-dated, but you can actually go on and watch the YouTube video if you want to see what our beautiful faces look like. Anyways, with no further ado, I'm going to start left and go to my right in the circle here. I've got Johnny to my left. Sorry, I was reading comments here on YouTube. We got Johnny to my left, and Johnny I've actually known the longest of everybody in the room. We actually went to Buford High School together. And anyways, reached out to me, and we started working on his Jeep, wheeling together, doing some stuff. And why don't you tell us, Johnny, about your Jeep, and at the end, give us your Instagram handle if anybody will check that Jeep out.
Cool. So I drive a 2014 Jeep Wrangler JKU. It's the 75th year edition. Has a whole bunch of modifications done to it, sitting on 38-inch Patagonia tires. Those are wrapped on some Black Rhino Kelso 17.
Recently installed at Black Bear Off-Road.
Yeah, those are the latest. Plug. Yeah, those are the latest things done to that. It has a whole bunch more. You can check that out on my Instagram. That's at JohnTomino_Bay. Yeah, little play on Guantanamo Bay.
Nice. Awesome. Well, check him out on Instagram. He's got a cool build. Johnny's got some really nice, subtle, what would you say, like accessorized colors to it. I really like what he's done there. It's a very clean build. So you'll be able to see it. You've probably seen it in some videos before, but you're really going to see it eat this weekend at Windrock. And that video will be out next week about Wednesday or Thursday. So look forward to that. Let's shoot across. This guy drove this morning from Dover, Tennessee. You've heard me shout him out more than any person on this podcast. This is my boy, Old Shelby Thomas. Shelby, tell him what you got. and a little bit about yourself. And if they want to find you on Instagram, I know you're a big social media influencer, so tell them where they can find you.
I got a 2016 Jeep Rubicon. It's got a 3.5-inch rock crawler lift, 34-inch Nitto trail grapplers. That's about it.
That's about it.
I guess, yeah.
Shelby actually joined us on the Black Bear Pass trip and another one. He's been at the trail cleanups, the last Windrock video. And so today we did a little tweaking. Rock Crawler actually had a recall on their bushings. So if you have a Rock Crawler lift, a mid-arm kit for JK, and you got some squeaking going on, check with Rock Crawler. They got some bushings they're sending out. We did the job. And once you figure out what you're doing, it doesn't take long, and hopefully it'll make us a nice, smooth, quiet ride this weekend. And, yeah, we're going to move on to Brandon Cordell. Brandon has got I'll just let you tell us all about this Cherokee that is your baby.
Yes, sir. It's a 2000 Cherokee XJ. Got a 4.5-inch zone lift, sitting on 33-inch Pro Comp Extreme MT2s with
Mamba wheels?
the Mamba wheels.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah.
They had a little
Nice
frame
flashy
freeze
Mamba wheels,
there.
yeah.
Yep. Yeah, fun setup for sure. Had a good time building it with Bubba and the crew over here at Black Bear Off Road.
Absolutely. They say the best J is the XJ. He's frameless and shameless. So, anyways, the reason I wanted these three guys in here is, not to call them out, but I get a lot of questions on Facebook Messenger, but these three are my top 3 question askers. And it's not a bad thing because they're learning. They want to know, what should they run on their vehicle or just some questions here or there. And all 3 are very nice, friendly gentlemen that I like hanging out with. So we've got some nice adult bubbly beverages here, and we're going to do some I guess they're going to shoot some actual more questions at me live today. That should be fun. It'll make for a fun podcast. If you're just joining us live on YouTube, we are recording a podcast live. So this is what it's kind of like when we do a podcast. You can only see Johnny, but I got a couple other guys here in the room. Keep listening in. But anyways, Johnny's going to start us off with a couple of his questions. Hopefully there's some good ones. And if you're watching on YouTube, feel free to shoot them over on Messenger. We can get those out as well. Let's hear them, Johnny.
Yeah, so I guess my first question is so I've known you since high school. And not saying that you're a totally different person now than you were in high school. Because you've always really been into vehicles.
I was skinnier, you're right.
Maybe a little stronger too, I don't know.
I was swole back then.
Yeah. You've always been into vehicles.
Yeah.
What got you into off-roading vehicles? Because you had I would say a more street-looking Tim.
Yeah, I love mini trucks, still do. But actually, mini trucks got me into off-roading. So what happened was me and my wife just got married, didn't have a ton of money, and I had a 1984 Nissan 720, blew the motor on it, and I was like, what am I going to drive? Kyle had a 2-wheel drive XJ for $800. Bought it. And that's it, man. I own Jeeps. El Presidente. Had mud tires in the rear, highway slicks in the front. Yeah, and some big old lights. And we've got it sunk so bad that Willard's had to bring a Bobcat out to get us out.
Was it in Buford?
In Buford, but it was on private property. We're not trespassing. Okay. I tried to cut a donut in a plowed field. I just sunk it down.
Did not work out.
So bad that we had to climb out of the windows. It was raining. It was awful. And I was like, I'm not done with Jeeps. I'm done with 2-wheel drive Jeeps. And went up to a YJ from there, and I got more Cherokees. I had a bunch. But anyways, that's what got me into off-road, and that was almost 9 years ago now.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Good question.
Very nice. I guess, so what funded the idea of it taking it to this level? Because I'm into off-road. Mm-hmm. These guys are in off-roading, obviously. So why take it to this level? Is it that much? We all love it.
Sure. I guess the question is why take it to?
I don't mean that in a bad way.
No,
we all appreciate what you're doing.
Yeah. Why take it to the next level of starting my own brand business, doing the media thing, all the content? Yeah. So I went to school, became
maybe not why. Where did that idea come from?
Sure. I guess the biggest thing is, almost everyone in my immediate family is an entrepreneur. So working for people doesn't necessarily work for me because as I'm working for them, I'm like, dude, you should be doing this and this and this and this. And it's like, I'm like an entrepreneur. Like I need to have some control or whatever. And so the whole time that I've worked for other people and even when I was going to automotive school, I'm like, I want to own my own shop. Like that's been in the back of my mind. Then I ran my own shop as a GM and realized that like maintenance, brakes, just basic stuff on minivans and SUVs was boring, and that I got into aftermarket and realized aftermarket's a lot of fun. You come in and get a new set of wheels and tires, you leave smiling. You come in and get your transmission replaced or like a fuel injection service, you leave with the exact same vehicle that rides exactly the same, but you're $800 in the hole. It's not exciting. There's nothing sexy about getting a brake job unless you're getting like cross-drilled and slotted upgrade here in the shop. Yeah. It's not cool to get maintenance done. And no Jeeper I know likes getting maintenance done. They want to get the cool aftermarket stuff. So I knew I want to open a shop where I make people happy. It's my passion. And it's a lot more fun. It's more fun to do what I do. And I just, anything I'm really into, I kind of go overboard on it. So that's where I'm at. I kind of took it to this level. Now, the content thing, like the podcast and recording and all that, I just felt selfish. Like, especially when I was working for JCR, I got to do so much cool stuff.
Yeah.
I felt like it was selfish to not share it. Like, I just feel like I was always posting pictures and people wanted to know more. And I'm like, well, I'll start a YouTube channel. And now, like, people are listening to podcasts. So I was like, I'll do that. And they want to see stuff written. I'll write stuff, whatever. Like,
I think for 9 years, you built a pretty solid resume from as far as, like, wheeling knowledge to building knowledge and kind of everywhere between.
Yeah, I think you have to get to, like, the only way to get experience is to go do stuff. So, like, you can have 9 years in the Jeeps, but I've only gone to, like, the O'Reilly's parking lot meet, like, all 12 times they did it in a year. Or you could, like, say, I want to wheel every month no matter what, know how hard it is, whatever. My Jeep's broken. It's going to take a lot of funds and time and effort to get it done. And that's what I've done hard for probably the last 4 years. I'm like, I got to wheel every month at least once. Yeah. And last summer we did it, I think, 5 out of 6 weekends. So every time you go out, you learn something new. At least you should. If it was an easy day, you weren't really wheeling, I don't think. You might have been overlanding, but then you should learn something about camping or whatever.
Agreed.
So, yeah. But, yeah, I appreciate the compliment.
I got 2 more questions. I'm going to say another one towards the end.
Okay. We can come back. We can
always do that. So, I guess, like.
Hold on a second. We're going to pause the customers here. Hold on.
How you doing?
What's up, man? We were recording a podcast, but I paused that.
Oh, God,
You're good. You're good. There you are. I had you sitting there waiting.
Appreciate it, man. I appreciate it.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you, man.
Yeah.
All right.
Heck yeah, man. We'll see you, dude.
See you, man. Have a good night.
That was William. He'll probably see this video in the future because he always comments on YouTube. So thanks for buying the shirt. Those are Trail Team shirts. If you missed this batch, just watch on Facebook, and you can get yourself your own Trail Team shirt.
Oh,
yeah, you can help yourself to any of the beers that you want, Shelby.
It's a privilege. Not everybody gets that.
Actually, you can grab that bottle of Buffalo Trace too if you want. I don't care.
So,
easy, boy.
Are we on pause? We ready to
go? So, podcast on pause. YouTube is still rolling. Addie's back in the room. Shout out to Addie.
Our shop's gonna be Hatchets, right?
Number 1.
Yeah. Addie's gonna model these. These are Black Legion hatchets that we sell here in the shop, and and Addie's gonna show them off.
Stand up.
Look at those. I think we have these things on sale. $15. $15. They're the same as our Trail Team color, just green and black bear off-road style. So Addie likes the hatchets. She's terrifying with them. But since she's really nice, we're letting her play with them. So thank you for modeling those, Addie.
She says your butt.
Whoa, Trail Team shirts are in. Yes, Daniel, they are. And I will have yours in my hand for Winter Rock. So, yeah, they're awesome. I'd show them to you, but
forgot to order mine.
They're all sealed up right now.
I'll get the second batch.
Maybe on the second batch. Well, we may never do camo again.
Hey, that's
So
cool.
the next
I might
one.
just give you a special shirt.
Okay. I don't have the. I'm thinking maybe tan for the next shirts, but I do have an idea for hats where the new black bear hats we might do like a gray with this, and then maybe a lime green. Heather gray, yeah, a lime green on this and the trail team patch, and maybe do a flat bill if we got enough Cali bros that want a flat bill. I got you. Okay, we're going back into the podcast. Thanks for the comments, Team SUV.
Chevy says I ain't wearing a flat bill, bro.
Flat bills and cowboy boots, man. That's the rage in Michigan.
2021.
Yeah. All right, going back to the podcast.
This one-liner slippers kill me.
All right. Sorry, podcast. So the customer did show up that I was warning about. He did show up, got a shirt, and we're back. So, question from Johnny.
Something that I think would be pretty cool to hear. So you're always kind of giving recommendations or, I guess, inspiration to your customers. Or,
Avery knows this.
Or kind of ideas.
I've told him this, that there's 2 things in life you can get from me for free.
Only 2.
Yeah.
There's only 2?
That's a smile and advice. That's the only 2 things I give out for free.
Very nice.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm always giving advice.
Smile is always a good thing to give.
I used to have a hug on there that was 3, but I had to cut that out because of COVID.
Yeah, Corona.
So there's only 2. You get a
Corona changed a
smile,
lot of things.
free advice.
What about a mask on?
No, I'm not giving you a hug.
Nothing?
So you're always, has anybody's build inspired anything you've done to one of your Jeeps? Because everybody's coming here getting all sorts of things.
You mean as one of my customers' builds, or someone?
Not somebody that like you obviously follow and you like their build, that this and the other, but just like, I'm not going to say some average Joe, but one of your customers coming in, just like, hey, I got this idea. This is what I want to do to it. Or maybe you didn't even think about it, and it's just like once it's on the Jeep, you're like that.
Has a customer come in with an idea that inspired me on their build, or my
to put on one of yours?
Ooh,
that you haven't already thought about before.
That's a tough one.
Because that's happened to me here. I don't know if it's happened to either of you guys, but like be at the shop, somebody's getting something done, and you're like, I like that. The
proper way to answer this is most of my builds I've already planned. So like I've probably got like 4 or 5 great ideas right now for stuff that I can't afford. Yeah. So like before I even bought my Comanche, I was like, there's these 3 different things I might want to do with it. Before I had the JL, I was kind of like, I want to build an overland JL and I want to have this stuff, da-da-da. But my customers have influenced brands and maybe like color choices or like I'll bounce ideas off customers.
Yeah,
so maybe
I would think that not in a bad way, trial and error, because everybody thinks that certain things look different on their Jeep versus because you're not gonna like everything you put on there.
Jeep. And like seeing stuff I put on people's vehicles, I'll get an idea like if they enjoyed it or whatever. But like I don't know if I've necessarily been inspired by one of my customers' build, but I've bounced ideas off of them, and like. For instance, like I asked a guy about fog lights the other day, and it kind of inspired the choice I made on the Baja Designs. And sometimes I'll be like, should I do this red or all black? And I'll ask you guys.
Yeah.
Running Mambas so a lot of the products I try to run, I do it actually for my customers. So like the JL is all cab fab, and Steer Smarts is like the major brands you see on it, and Fox. So that's like, so I can display for you what that would look like. And then my LJs got the JCR products with Rock Crawler. And then I'm going to probably go a different brand on everything on the Comanche. So like, I can always give you like a different idea. We've done high beam lights on this last one, and then the one before is rigid. So yeah, my customers influence my decisions quite a bit. But I kind of already have like things I really, really want to do. Yeah. So it's hard to break that. Like, even if you guys didn't like it, if I was like, So,
like, you plan out your builds. Is it like, I'm going to get, high beam headlights? I'm going to get,
I have a book at home.
JCR fenders. Or is it just
I
want it to look like this, and I'm going to, kind of figure out.
No, I know down to the T. Wow. I have a book at home.
I didn't do it like that. I don't know if y'all did it.
I have a book at home with, like, stickers all over it. And, like, I could be sitting there watching something, and I'll write down, like, this is what I want. I want to add this. I want to do this.
You're unique. One of a kind, my friend.
I love building.
I would say one of a kind. I'm sure there's people out there that do that.
Yeah.
Dude, I was like that when I did my mountain bikes.
Yeah. I've never been
my
like
mountain
that.
bikes. I buy them from the frame, and I build it from the frame up. And I
Yeah.
use every component, every color, every detail in that build before I ever had the first part in my hands.
See, that's great. I always find that a lot of your fun is in kind of the research of your builds. You know, anticipating I know I want to get new wheels, but you don't know which ones. So it's kind of like that anticipation factor of, you know, I'm looking for the wheel. It's the wheel that I kind of think I want, going back and forth. Because I recently just got wheels and tires, so
Like Rhinos.
yeah, just kind of going through that. Not saying I don't enjoy them on my Jeep now. I absolutely love the way they look, but it's just like that build up to like, and the excitement to like, oh, those would look so cool, or these would perform this way or that way.
I'm probably the opposite, like, because I'm into parts so much. I'll see a set of wheels and be like, I'd like to buy something just to put those wheels on because I like the wheels so much.
Yeah.
So like, there's some wheels that Mama made. They're like polished aluminum, and I've wanted to put them on everything.
Yeah.
And then I just got that paint kind of down on the Comanche, and I'm like, that's it. That's the one. That's what it can go on, because it wasn't really gonna work on the JL build. And, yeah. So I see parts that I want to run, and then I think about builds around them.
Cool. The last question is, so local.
Yeah.
Because Georgia offers good trails. We have a lot of good trails.
Sure.
Here, but I want to open it up just a little. So
sure.
Within 3 hours, excluding Windrun.
Yep.
What's your favorite trail to go hit? Like, if you could go, boom, this is my favorite trail. I'm gonna have the most fun. Take whoever you want. Go by yourself. Where do you go?
Within 3 hours. Right now, I would go to Beasley Knob. But my favorite trail is currently closed. Chimney Mountain on the side of Trey is my go-to favorite place to take anybody, anytime, because you can get there in like 45 minutes to an hour.
Yeah.
A lot of people run Trey, but a lot of people don't run Chimney, and a lot of people don't run it backwards. So like driving up it from
going down.
Yeah, a lot of people drive it down because it's easy, but driving it up has a couple challenges near the culvert, and those are the places that they've closed it down for because the road's degrading or whatever. But while it was actually legal and you could drive it,
may not get reopened.
Probably not. I don't know if they'll ever get the funds. I heard from Helen, we can dive down it, but they do 2 roads a year because they have 2 crew people, and it's nowhere even on the list. Like it's probably 4 or 6 years out or something.
Unless you want to volunteer.
Well, even if we volunteer and put money up, I don't know if government cares enough. Sure. But hopefully, we're that's why we claim the trails. Other than, we want them to be pretty for people, but we want to keep the trails open. So that would be like, if I had my choice, like I'd run Chimney because you can take beginners, you can take like anybody, and then from there you can go and run a lot of other stuff. You can get Charlie's in the same day. You can go to Dimblewheel. You can do whatever. So, but right now, legal trails, Beasley Knob would be where I take people. We may have one more guest popping in here shortly, but he'll just jump right onto the podcast. Andrew's here from Good Bros. Mm-hmm. We have a lot of parts for him. Oh, he's putting lights on and everything.
Good Bro,
he might. Yeah, I got the Good Bro koozie. Anyways, great questions. Appreciate it, Johnny.
Yeah, I want to get to these other guys. I don't want to hog all.
Yeah, but Beasley Knob and Beasley's open seasonally. But to me, the great part is you pay to be there. So
how much is that? Just so
$5.
Okay.
$5. It's honor system, so you put it in a box, and don't
be that guy.
It's got a lot of different terrains, a lot of hill climbs. It can get muddy. Go on a dry day, but there's to me, there's a rock garden section. That's just I could run it over and over.
So is that where you're going to take me to test it?
Yeah.
Besides Windrock?
Yeah, Beasley's fun. Yeah.
Bubba
and that's the first time me and Brandon ran together. It's at Beasley.
Yes, it was.
And he brought a Nissan.
Xterra.
But I knew then he was going to be a good wheeler because he listened to a spotter, and we didn't flip it, even though it was close.
But I heard some stories about that. True.
And then the great part, he listened to a spotter, and then he messaged me after. He goes, if I was going to build an off-road vehicle for under $5,000, which we might have gone past that.
Yes, we have.
I said, build a Cherokee. And so he built a Cherokee.
And it's looking great.
He's listened to me.
It's looking great.
So,
it sounds amazing.
We've got about that in parts now.
Yeah.
I want to put y'all on hot seat. Whoever asks questions has to sit right
here. Yeah. So, Shelby, you want to go? All right, come on, Shelby.
I know he didn't want to be on camera, so.
Welcome, old Shelbs.
Hi, guys. That's that motherfucker.
Easy. More live on YouTube.
All right, so anybody
that just happened to join us recently, we were actually recording a live podcast, and this is just the filming of that. Come on in, Drew. Good. All the kind of guests come in. We've got the little kids too.
Yeah.
So we're live on YouTube and we're filming or recording a podcast.
Nice.
So welcome,
Hello.
good bros, Drew.
How you doing?
Good. Did you bring strain? He hasn't smelt it before.
We
I
were
told
just
him.
talking about it.
Yeah.
That's probably the best one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have a pile of parts for you up there.
I'm excited to install them.
I'm gonna pause the podcast for a second,
24
but
hours.
you two were staying live. I'm gonna show them his parts.
Yep.
And I have a shirt.
Yeah.
All right, Shelby, keep them entertained.
You go, Shelby.
We'll steal Jeepin Bubba's live.
See, this is how the podcast happened. I get just things happen, so you gotta stop and.
We can improve it
Yeah.
So you guys need to get a new hat like this.
right here. This is why he loves Shelby. Look at this.
We got some
I'm gonna see what
machetes. Brandon, you're more of the.
Here, I guess let's interview Shelby while Bubba's going.
Johnny, so you're running 38s now. I'm jealous. Definitely jealous.
Just got those.
Wish I could run 38. Probably.
Those hurt the pockets. This one will be worth it long run.
Where are you geared to?
488
48.
on Dana 44s. Front and back are both locked as well.
Is it Rubicon? Is it?
No, so the guy who bought it a Sport. I guess he front axle swapped. I guess right because the Sports come with Dana 30s. Right?
30s.
Yeah, so he front swapped the axle and locked both of them and re-geared the 48. He pretty much made the Sport into a Rubicon because it's a cheaper option to do that.
What Willie did.
Willie?
That's what Willie did.
Skid plated
Still
it.
30s.
It was
So if
a
you went up
sport.
underneath it, it looks
Yeah,
like a
but it's still
Rubicon from
30 up
underneath,
front.
but
It is
everything
re-geared,
else is Sport.
but not locked.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
re-geared, not locked. He still has the stock axle shafts in it.
Mm-hmm.
Me too.
That's
And trusses or two sleeves. I can't remember. I know he's truss. I think. Yeah.
I
Yeah, he's
don't know
trust.
if he's trust.
No.
Yeah, because he said it in a podcast one time.
Yeah.
He's trust.
BB&T.
Yeah.
just got my trust and goes.
Big tires and truss.
You doing all
That's
that?
what BB&T stands for. In case you didn't know.
My trust is sitting out there in the shop.
Yeah.
Mine comes from necessity, though, not because I wanted to. Somehow, I'm assuming it was when we were at Windrock. I
Weekend.
weakened it, and then when we went to Timber Falls, just playing around there on the falls. I got down and I was like, hey, my steering feels weird. Like my power steering's gone out again. No, my power steering was fine. My tire was up against the fender.
Didn't you endo before too?
Yeah. Yeah.
It was awesome.
It's been a minute though.
I've never
In
seen that.
theory, if that was the stressor, it should have like broken at Windrock. But luckily, that second day y'all were doing Trail 51 and everything.
Mhm.
I just had a really weird feeling. I was like, I don't need to go out. Like something's up. I'm just gonna put it back on the trailer, and that's why I headed back. And sure as shit, next time I take it out, like literally, I took it off the trailer, barely crawled the waterfall there at Timber Falls, and it was completely busted.
Oh.
That why y'all left that Sunday morning?
Mm-hmm.
Y'all took out?
But it's like I literally had to take the winch, run the line around the axle, pull the axle back forward to get it out of the fender, just to get it back to the trailer.
Mm.
But that was the easy
On
part.
a
of it.
log too, right?
No, that was my buddy's Jeep.
Yeah, that was crazy.
That was my buddy's Jeep. So I found out I was broken while they were cutting a tree down to make the skid to pull his back to the trailer. So that was a fun
Which
day.
way did they pull it? Because where did it happen at that timber?
So right there, you go down the waterfall
Yeah,
and then you go up that big rock hill,
yeah.
the little rock garden section.
Yeah.
It was right there. It was halfway up where the axle broke.
That
That's
sounds
not easy
awesome.
pull
4-link, 3-link.
To get back to the parking lot.
So we ended up having to.
It is ideal.
Originally, we were trying to winch re-secure.
Team
the
SUV.
tire.
Mhm.
Andrew's cab
It just
fab control
didn't work
arms
very well.
just showed up.
And
So he's getting control arms,
Yeah.
and he's got a nice truss
so we
with
ended
Johnny
up
joints
having to-
going in that are going to hold those.
That's wild.
The TJ's going to be
That's
coming
awesome.
back better than ever. Can't wait to see that yellow banana out on the trail. So Good
24
questions.
hours.
It's gonna be fun.
Mhm.
YouTube asked why
Is
you're
it?
spending all your money on an F-250 instead of control arms. So that popped up on the line.
That
But he
F-250
has them.
is sick,
They're
man.
here. They're on
But
premise.
because the
That's
stuff for the
50
TJ was already ordered and I got bored.
It took a lot of weeks to get our stuff we've been waiting on. So
It's like this broke back in.
they say you're awesome
November.
though.
Yeah. Wow.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm.
You're fiending.
Brooks said,
You're like, I want to hit my Jeep.
talk about the F250.
Oh yeah.
Who's that?
Who's that? Can't hide money, you know. Hey, here's
All in
your
the motor.
here's your Kentucky waterfall hair color.
Yeah.
Are you gonna get
Yeah.
that? You gonna get it for sure?
Rolling.
Dude, I'll pay for it.
I'm not fucking here for it.
I'll fucking pay
Talk to
Easy on the language,
for it.
speed station.
Tell me a number. It'll be in your bedroom.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Wow.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I had known that, I would have come more prepared. We could have done it tonight
Yeah.
live.
That'd be great.
We should do that.
Curlers,
There you go. There's more content.
I have some
She
tip
has.
tips.
She does have experience perming a mullet.
Yeah,
100%.
I got
within the
one.
last 6 months.
I got one of these.
Nice.
Yeah, we just need to tear the sleeves off of a flannel too. And that's how you have to rock it.
I got nothing.
Confirmed it once or 3 times.
I'm going for the Hulk Hogan look.
Oh yeah.
Hulk Hogan now. Could you cut your mustache all the way down your chin, have it hang out?
Dude, I'm thinking about it,
Yeah,
man.
just
Maybe
have it-
get in the summer, I'm
Yeah.
gonna trim my beard. I might just
Yeah.
do the Fu Manchu.
Just do the Fu Manchu.
Bag, yeah.
What's that?
You're about to be a different looking man here soon.
What- Oh, because so
Yeah,
You
you
know,
do
your
summer
summer shade's
cut.
coming out.
I'm thinking of buzzing my hair and leaving the beard,
Okay.
like even going
Yeah.
until it connects to the chest hair.
I got you.
Dude, look at this. Look at this, right?
You lift your head.
We got the polar bear, we got the black bear.
Smoke and snow right here,
There you
baby. All right, we're gonna get back to the podcast.
Where
Shelby's up. All right, we're getting back to the podcast. Daniel's laughing on here. The podcast today, for those joining, is trail team members asking me questions live that I haven't heard yet. So, all right, podcast, we are back, and there's all sorts of people who have just filtered in and out. Andrew from Good Bros is here with the whole family, and Avery's eating loudly some kind of Chinese food, and we're discussing whether or not he should get a Kentucky waterfall. Google it. I think he should. Shelby's up. He's a little nervous, and he prepared like no questions. I told him last night he had a 5.5 hour drive here today. He's got nothing, so I can't wait to hear what he has to say to me.
All right, so this is more on a personal level. When you moved to Michigan, were you ever nervous, like, to move? Because, you know, I want to move down here.
Sure, that was rough. I was more nervous about how my family here would take it than I was nervous about actually moving up there. Because my move up there was, I was chasing business. I knew I could sell. I was going to go into sales. Wasn't worried about. The only thing I was worried about in Michigan was whether they sold beer or not in like on Sundays, or they sell liquor in Walmart all day, 24/7.
Really?
So it's a great part about Michigan. And I knew the people at JCR were really great. But when I told my mom I was moving, she didn't talk to me for 2 weeks. And she only talked to me because I saw her at a wedding. I had to sit at the same table as her. Yeah, and we moved in 2 weeks. I like told them, hey, we're gonna move to Michigan. 2 weeks later, we lived in Michigan. So like saw her at that wedding. They said goodbye to us, and we went. Like nobody in my family has ever moved away. Lived in this town for 4 generations. So I promised my mom, my wife, we had a kid. I moved back, and if I was moving back, I was starting to shop. So that kind of unfolded. But yeah, I was super nervous just about my family kind of situation because JCR made it great. They like let me use the truck, the trailer. We found an apartment. Like ended up buying a house. That was great. And the people up there, I'd still be working there had I not had kids right now. It's a great place. So, but yeah, there's a lot to be nervous about. They made it easier for me than it might be for you moving to Georgia. I don't have a truck and trailer for you to move down. I got a 16 footer. Yeah. Andrew's got you. So, yeah, I was a little nervous, but yeah.
We can move you in a day with the trail team.
Yeah.
But for real.
What are you whispering right now?
I'm all out of questions, bro.
You wants to come back to him?
Yeah.
Okay. You have a question, Andrew? Andrew's been on the podcast before, the Good Bros. He was actually pretty relaxed that night. The most vocal of them. But he wasn't even planning to be here, but now he's in. Let's welcome him. Hey, did you see what I was rocking today?
I do. I need to go fill mine up.
Yeah. Oh, there's a whole 6-pack right here.
These came for a purpose.
Oh,
I can't
okay.
have the first
Well, I
one.
got some up there. Let's grab him. Get him something. Anytime.
Yeah. Hey, do you have a question
Little
about
Jeepin
Jeeps?
Bubs.
You ask Brad a question about his Jeep?
You can give him one of them if you want.
What is it doing? Right now, it's just sitting. But this weekend, it's gonna be
Yes.
getting muddy.
Yeah, it is.
Why do I get stuck in mud? Sometimes it's because my tires are too small. I'm trying to be all overland Brad. Like, I'm trying to keep up with Trail Recon Brad. So I just got 35, so I should probably get bigger ones. Other times, I'm just trying to show off. I go too deep in. I don't know. Sometimes I'm recovering people, but maybe I should air down more. I did light bars
You
before
always-
I did lockers.
You always have to air down before you get the trail, you know.
Got to.
And if you don't video yourself airing down,
Gotcha.
did you really air down?
No, probably not.
Everybody's talking about, all these small tires, 35s and whatever. Dude, man, you're rocking old school 33s, man.
That was the big tire back in the day.
You know?
Yeah,
Right.
in high school days, 33s for it.
Like I really don't. As of now, until unfortunately a lot of the trails are getting rutted out, so it makes 35s and having that ground clearance a lot more important
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
But when it comes to like just going out having fun wheeling, 33s are great.
Yeah.
They put it right in like the Jeep's powerhouse kind of power band. So like you need that torque, it's there. You don't have to worry about re-gearing really for 33s. So it's a good entry level tire. It's very capable. You throw the right like tread pattern and compound on, you can pretty much do whatever you want as long as you pick a good line and have a good spotter.
We're going to find out this weekend.
Absolutely.
That's, so I'm doing 33s on the Comanche, and I'm looking forward to running a lot of the trails in North Georgia that aren't fun on 35s and 37s, that will be more interesting with a manual, with a truck that has
Especially the
departure
breakover angle, yeah.
Yeah, and having the 33s. So it'll make those trails that are like, we've done it before. That'll like let me enjoy and understand it like from a whole new perspective. So, maybe I'll go smaller after that. Who knows?
I mean, I was watching Faster with Finnegan today where they took a Miata, put it on 27s on a 4-inch lift.
I watched it last
climbs.
night and saw the one with Dennis Anderson. I don't know if you've seen that yet.
No,
Oh.
but it started playing and I was like, I
It's
gotta pause
so
this so I
good.
can like actually pay attention to it.
It's great. It's great. I love that show. And that's a Georgia boy. So
Absolutely.
shout out Finnegan. Finnegan's from Georgia, yeah. Yeah. So that's cool.
And so is I forget the other guy's name. But like half their cast is like here in Georgia.
Yeah, Cotton and whatever
The bold move, Cotton.
what is the other guy's name?
But will it pay
The
off?
other guy on Pastor and Finnegan looks like a guy that we went to school with.
Mm-hmm.
He looks just like the guy whose dad worked for Aikens, or I forget his name now. Awful.
Oh God! Now you're putting me on the spot. I know exactly who you're talking about.
Yeah,
I've
they
actually
look
talked.
the
I've
same.
actually talked to him recently.
Yeah.
I was gonna go borrow a Pittman arm puller from him, but yeah, he does.
He looks just like him. I had to look it up. I'm like, oh, that's not the same guy. That's not his dad or whatever. But
Yep.
yeah.
But he is from Georgia. He's got a dope little Honda side by side.
And they just
Rips.
featured that same guy they just featured on the last Roadkill. Is Toyota? No, what was it? I don't know, some kind of mini truck with a LS in it, but they ended up burning. Well, I won't ruin it. It's great. Go watch Motor Trend Channel. I actually called out Motor Trend Channel this week in a post. I'm still wondering why I don't have a
I saw
TV
that.
show. So that's why we're live here for free. Motor Trend, you're missing out.
on that.
So getting back to your questions.
Oh yeah,
At
you got a
all.
question? Oh no.
Speaking of the Comanche,
Yeah.
talking about taking down smaller tires,
Yeah.
wanting to run trails that aren't as fun on large tires.
Sure.
What's the first trail you want to take it on?
I'd like to take
When are we
it.
taking it to Moab?
Yeah. So that's the thing. Like, small tires are fine in Moab because you just need traction
Mhm.
and ground clearance. So it'd be fine. That little grassy gap trail, we did a trail cleanup there. It runs around Springer Mountain and goes up to Hawk. So Hawk would be the hardest thing that day.
Mhm.
Maybe run to Nimblewheel, like Bucktown. Like I did Bucktown in our Trail Hawk, but it had lockers. So this one does have a lunchbox in the rear, but open in the front. So I'd like to run that area. I mean, it's pretty rocky. And I usually drive it fast in the LJ because the suspension's set up good, but it's pretty bouncy in there.
Hawk is where Trail now got his name, right?
That's right. Yeah, got El Presidente's wife, Nicole, not my wife, Nicole, went full send on gas, aimed straight at Brandon, and Brandon balled up like Sonic the Hedgehog, hit the ground, and kept rolling in a motion that rolled uphill and gained momentum, sprung up like a garden gnome being chased by a little kid, and boy,
Stood up without his
I think you saved your own life. It was close. It was close. Yeah. So Trail Gnome is his name.
I wish we had that on video. It was such a glorious roll.
It was a
there
great
is
roll.
part of it on video.
That's true. The very end of it.
Yeah.
So it sounds like we just need to make sure that every time we go out now, everybody just has like a GoPro like strapped to
Oh,
them
yeah.
to capture all of this
Yeah.
footage.
I
I
can't
have
tell
like
you how
a-
many times we've gone wheeling and something.
A body cam.
Yeah, we
Mhm.
missed like the most epic thing on the trails because
Dude, everybody
nobody
else
was
took
filming at that time.
Yeah.
A line, and all of a sudden she hooked B line, and I'm like, here she comes.
I told her, I'm like, just stay in it, but she really stayed in. I mean, it ate. So
At least you didn't stay in it like the poor lady at Windrock.
Oh.
With that red JK.
that
National.
video makes me nauseous.
She went viral.
Yeah. You haven't seen it. There's a girl Windrock. Was it Red Jeep?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Brand new
it was a red
JL.
JKU, wasn't it?
And apparently the story is she
Pretty
stayed.
cheap.
I guess they were like, slow down. And she went to stomp the brake and she stomped the gas
Whiskey
and just
throttle.
launched it and cracked the axle. And it's
That's
glad that she ended up
That's
okay.
16 too.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie to you. That gave me some confidence in the Jeeps.
That it didn't roll and
That
didn't
it
break
didn't
more.
roll right. I
Yeah.
mean, yes, it busted the front end.
But that was it.
It could have been a lot worse.
Mm.
This
Yeah.
was a 30-foot launch off of
Right?
Yeah.
a ledge for those who haven't seen
Right.
it. Like,
Yeah. You might could Trail Gnome roll down it.
Yeah, I might.
Survive.
You can
Like an
teach her a
armadillo.
lesson.
He would do much better than that poor little Data 30.
It's
Cost
fucking
you
roll.
2 goes and a half. Get it towed out.
Brandon is more structurally sound than the Data 30.
Oh, I believe
Is
that.
that what it was?
So like
Day
then
30?
60, bro.
You're
In
a
a tight package.
you're a super 60.
Got that rock job.
Easy on his job.
Easy.
Shout out Daniel.
Well, that was fun. Yeah, I can't wait to get the Comanche out on the trail. It should be good. I did get on some gravel the other day. Hit first gear and slid the rear end out a little bit, so that was fun. That was good. Shelby, have you thought anything else in this time? Are you sunburned or bashful?
He's over bashful.
When you move to Georgia, you gotta have some more questions, man.
He's got tons. I was gonna go on my messengers and bring up everything he's asked me in the last 100 days, but
Oh, he's gonna have tons of questions. He's gonna be like, what's wrong with these people?
we've camped together, so he knows what's wrong with me.
Yeah. We've been out in the middle of the woods in Colorado.
Together.
You don't have to go out in the middle of the woods to find out what's wrong with both.
it gets worse elevation, right?
Yeah.
All right, cool. We got 28 more minutes to fill. If we're gonna do a full podcast. So,
We can do it.
anything else, Andrew? Those are good ones for impromptu questions.
Okay. Well, you just gotta think of questions.
Yeah.
that, like people want to hear.
I mean,
People
it's
wanna know
Brandon
about
now.
Jeepin Bubba.
Yeah.
You have 100. Oh, Brandon has a lot.
Uh-oh. I can bring up old days with them if we need some time to.
We don't need to talk about it. Yes, I had a rap group called Cut Squad.
Yes.
And, yeah.
Little co-run.
everyone thought that
Coco. Ask him about Coco.
they used to call me Coco.
Okay, we gotta have the Coco.
They thought that I called it Cut Squad because of some kind of violence thing, but I push mowers for a living in the summers, and I'm like, we're the Cut Squad, and I'm out there rapping while I'm cutting your yards. That's where the name came from. I don't know. They took it as some kind of violent thing.
You became Coco.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
Young Co as I got a little more progressed.
Once I aged, I got young.
I
in
got
front of my
bars
name.
for days. It's just, I don't know.
Mixtape.
Dude, I can
That's the
go.
hottest mixtape.
I'm like Meat Mill, bro.
He's a ghostwriter then.
Touche.
So, getting back to like the Jeepin Bubba
Uh-oh.
psyche.
Yeah, Psyche. Persona.
You run effectively a Jeep shop. It's an off-road shop,
yeah.
but primarily
Mostly Jeep.
you work on Jeeps.
We're kind of biased.
So you've had the experience with all of the new product and
Mhm.
everything. What's your hot take on it? I know you guys have the Turbo JL.
Yeah.
How's that stack up to the others?
The others? Yeah, that's a hard one. I have not yet. I've driven the JT, but I haven't wheeled it. But if I was comparing, like,
We can change that soon.
yeah.
I may know where 1 on 37s is.
Yeah. You can go for a test drive.
Yeah.
Pretty
But if I'm comparing just like Wranglers to Wranglers, when the JKU came out, and I drove a 4-door Wrangler, like wheeled it, I'm like, this is cheating. But actually having the wheelbase was like, this is actually cheating. Now, I didn't never at that point I hadn't driven an LJ. The LJ is kind of the sweet spot. It's not too big. It feels great. The JL feels, it's got some magic where like on the trail it's amazing. I think it's better than the JK in that sense. But if I was going to do a negative, a con to it, it's very disconnected for the driver. So like driving on the road, you just don't feel connected. Like if you're driving, even the JK, it's got a little bit of like roughness to it. This thing, they've got the electric power steering. Everything's smooth. The suspension's smooth. You just feel like almost like you're just floating at all times. And then wheeling, you don't get the same response back. You don't get that same feel of like, oh, you're in danger, or sometimes you just feel disconnected. So that's my only negative part. But the motor, but I don't know. I think the turbo, I haven't driven the diesel, but it's the most fun motor I've owned from Jeep. It's fast on the road. Doesn't compare to doesn't really have the low end torque, but it just feels fun, sounds cool. It's a blast to drive to the trail.
And it gets the power band pretty good.
Gets the power band. It's a small. It's a hybrid turbo. It's a small turbo. But just the way it rides on the road, it's phenomenal. But yeah, it's just a little disconnected. It's not a driver's car like Wooly would say.
Basically, the same kind of argument people have between like your mid-90s kind of sports cars to today's sports cars.
Sure.
You don't have that tactile feel of the drive. It's more of a disconnect because of all the creature comforts.
Maybe if you took the roof off and the doors off and went off, like you would get that maybe a little bit more connection. But in a JK, even a JK rides kind of rough, even on the road, and there's just something in between them that you're missing out on. The first time I drove one, I was like, it feels like a 4Runner. If you've driven a 4Runner, driven a nice newer SUV, just driving on the highway, you're like, this is not the same. And I was kind of attracted to that because I'm like, I can convince my wife to drive this every day.
Well, that's what you were buying it for.
Exactly.
So that it has to fit that role.
It's great for that. And it works for me. So I'll have the old vehicles that'll keep breaking down that are a manual 4.0 that I get all the feel and response I want. And then if we're going on a long trip, I know that the reliability is going to happen out of this JL. And then we're going to Windrock this weekend. I know that 3.5 hour trip is going to happen. I'm not worried about it breaking down. If I took my LJ, I'd be more worried about breaking down before I got to the trail than I would be at the trail. So that's my hot take on it. I would say if somebody's just getting into Jeeps, go buy a TJ. YJ, you're dealing with leaf springs and you might get discouraged early. Go buy a TJ, learn what short wheelbase is all about, maybe get a manual, cut your teeth with that. Or if you don't want a Wrangler, go get a Cherokee. Be between those two, and then work your way up to the 4 doors. But if you just start straight with a JL, and you start working back, you're hugely
You're setting
disadvantaged.
yourself up.
If you start out with a YJ and you love it, then everything else is magic because those YJs you have to work for it.
Yeah.
And then there's CJ guys screaming at me, but I'm not going back that far.
Well, I mean, CJ guys, YJ guys, in theory, when it comes to off-roading, they're kind of in the same group.
Yeah, when you get back to a CJ, you might as well have an old Toyota
Fender
or
something,
yeah, I mean, might as well. So, but yeah, even if I was going back to CJ era, let's go to full width vehicles and go to like a Cherokee Chief or Wagoneer or something like that. My wife's creeping through the window because she doesn't think she can come in. But what's up, Jose AC? How are you? So yeah, that's my hot take. Would I buy another JL? Yeah, they're awesome. Because I enjoy, like, today I was going to Home Depot and I'm like, oh, I could take the Banshee, but that's like in an event. It's a 19-minute event to like shift, brake, condensation, gotta wipe it off, the window, crack it a little bit, no heat. I get in the JL and I'm like, put on my Bluetooth, listen to a podcast, nothing's gonna happen. So I mean, that's kind of a nice. But if I drove for 3 days, I'd be, I gotta get in that beater now. So that's my roots, man.
I can't wait to get my Jeep back on the road.
Yeah,
I miss it
for sure. That's the hot take.
No,
but it makes the new 4-doors make it so you can take your kids out. You can do overlanding. You can do rock crawling.
Rover landing.
Over rocking. All sorts of stuff.
Unlock
You can unlock it. Yeah. She owns half the company.
That's why she's banging on the window.
Yeah.
The door's locked.
Yeah. I heard a baby, and so I didn't know if it was Addie.
Oh, Addie left. Yeah. It's other Holden. Yep.
All right, who's next with the question?
Brandon.
I guess
we have 20
Alright,
minutes
come
left.
on.
I've been up.
Cycle in.
I got one more question that the people need to know.
Need to know.
They need to know this. Yeah.
Got to.
I know the answer, but the people
I
need
know.
to know. It's time to get the news out.
All right, so I'm a short timer in the group. So I've been
You're
with
not
you.
that short.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I
Short
mean,
time, but you got
oh,
the
you
most
were you
amount of
combining
years.
old timer and short together?
Well,
That's what I got.
Well, I just opened the door on that.
Short time.
Right?
The beard's
So-
white, but he's not that old.
No. What, 43?
Yeah.
43.
I was gonna
He's
say
got-
24. That's good.
He's got another 43 in him at least.
So yeah, I've been with you. What? I bought my Cherokee in June, July. We went wheeling in Beasley.
We did
in
Beasley, and you got
May,
You got the bug.
something like that, right?
Yeah.
Which, dude, I grew up riding 4-wheelers and ATVs, and my mountain bike
Yeah.
background with Wooly and
Yeah. Shout out S3.
S3. Yep. So in that short time, I've had I spend a lot of time on the road with my occupation, so I get to listen to a lot of your podcasts.
Man's a boiler. You want to be a boiler maker, but
I'm a service technician, boiler service technician. So we do service and repair on steam boilers and commercial heating equipment.
Yeah.
So I'm on the road a lot, right?
Yeah.
So Bubba told me about his podcasts.
Mm-hmm.
And for those of you that don't know, there's a wealth of information on Jeepin Bubba on Spotify.
And iTunes. And Rocket Cast and all sorts of places. Just Google it.
It covers a lot of ground, gives a lot of information. He alluded to earlier as far as you wanting to help people and whatnot. Which I've learned a lot just listening to your podcast, which has been tremendously helpful. But I feel like I've also been able to see, to some degree, your progression professionally, because to my understanding, even though I've just now come into picture, you've just now gotten this facility here.
Yeah,
you worked out of your garage for a long time doing builds in your garage at your house. But you probably didn't start here much sooner than I came into picture.
Yeah. So we're closing in on a year. Like mid next month will be in a year. We started right in the middle of COVID. Black Bear just hit its 3-year anniversary from the day that we decided to start it. Still while I was in Michigan. But it was just a website, and then we were doing just like one-off builds in my garage, in my driveway, at my house, with the dream and the idea that we would get here one day.
Yep.
And then just like magic, we're here.
So you obviously have a insane passion for this hobby, for this industry, for your customers, for your people, if you will.
Sure.
And I had a hard time coming up with some questions of my own because I've spent so much time listening to Bubba's podcast.
We appreciate it.
That gets it almost takes you on a personal level just listening to this information on his podcast, which is really cool. But with where you've come in such a short period of time, I mean, I show up here to do stuff on my build and I see Jeeps stacked in the parking lot. Some days are skinny, but most of the time I come in here,
Something going on.
you know, I mean, you got a two-bay shop and it's full, and you know, you got vehicles in the parking lot waiting to get in the door.
Stack them deep and build them.
All right. So that being said, so I had a hard time coming up with questions because of, you know, like you said, I spend a lot of time on commenting, you know, to you personally and whatnot. But yeah, and on your podcast. But so I asked my boys.
Uh-oh.
I asked my boys. I said, "All right, so if you had a chance to ask Bubba, you know, anything pertaining to wheeling, this or that or whatever, what would you ask him?" And one of them's already been covered.
Okay.
How long have you been into Jeeps specifically?
Yeah.
I think you said roughly 9 years.
Yeah, 9 years.
Okay. The other was in regards to your shop and your business. Where do you see yourself short term? What are your short term goals?
Mm-hmm.
What are your long term goals?
Short term, so less than a year. I'd love to be full time in the shop. So that's right now. I'm basically doing appointment only. So as we book vehicles, we're in here, we're building them. Sometimes we're here till 2 a.m. You know, it's just weird hours. And so because I'm having to work other jobs to make this work. So short term is to get here full time, be here. The basic 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. 5 days a week, sometimes weekends. We'll see. That's the short term basically, because that's going to service my customers the best. It's going to fulfill my passion where I want to be in the shortest amount of time. Long term goals continues with that, and they're pretty lofty. I would say if we're going in the next 5 years, I'd like to be in a bigger facility, more bays, bigger retail. I'd love for their retail to rival or go past what Four Wheel Parts currently does. That takes quite a bit of capital. I mean, you can have 30, 40 grand just sitting on your floor, plus you pay inventory tax for what you don't sell. So that's hard. And then to be in more bays, more equipment, road force balancers, laser alignment machines, those sort of things that help service customers more. And then beyond 5 years, I'd actually like to make it where I'm still running the business day in and day out, but I have it designed where 2 weeks, every 2 months, I leave with my family or I leave with a group of guys and we do major epic trips. So going to Moab for 2 weeks, doing road trips, doing, going to Canada and doing the Trans-Canada, like just as much, I'd love at one point to do South America, Venezuela, all the way to Alaska.
You got international.
So some of the stuff I watch on YouTube, and I'm like, I've got to do this. Like, I've got to, if they've been there, I got to do it. Like, I actually want to do the Appalachian Trail, and you can't drive that. And I'm not like the hiking type. But like when I see their adventure, I'm like, I got to do that too. Like, I want to be a part of that. I just want to be in the woods.
Right.
If I can drive it, that's preferred.
Right. So with everything that you're entangled in, if you will, I mean, from your shop that you do currently part-time, you work a full-time job.
Yeah. And I say air quotes part-time, we're still putting in 40 hours a week.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
but a weird, like, like 3 p.m. to 12.
Yeah. It's not uncommon to see you guys out here. I mean, just burning a midnight oil.
For sure.
And
And then back at 7.
And then back at 7 on your day job.
That's right.
And then going wheeling on the weekends.
If I can.
And, you know, I've heard you mention, you know, you're in so many different groups on social media and this and that and whatever else. I mean, you were just like so into this.
Yeah.
How do you keep from burning out?
The
What centers you, keeps everything real, keeps you refreshed to where you can keep at your passion and not lose that zeal for it?
I'm hungry.
Hey,
I'm hungry.
Hey, that's a good thing, right?
So there's like the cool part about one thing I'm centered like with my family because my family backs me and that helps a lot. I mean, having my family support, I like if I thought I was doing all this and then I was neglecting my family or other responsibilities, like that would deter. Like I would be like, all right, that would burn me out. Right now the only thing slowing me down is finances. Like you get at some point like you just can't go out west again. You just can't go to like you gotta, you know, do that. But like for me, with this particular hobby, there's so many ways you can go with it. Like there's so many vehicles I still want to build. There's so many trips I want to go. Like when you look at the list of things, you can't possibly in a lifetime complete all of them.
Right.
Like let's say you go to every state, every trail. There's great off-roading in Russia, in South America, in Australia.
Right.
Like I'm just thinking like that stuff exists. Like I want to go do it in a Nissan Patrol.
Right.
Dude, Siberia's got some great wheels.
Sounds like
Right.
your first, like out of anywhere in the world, you
Yeah.
say, I want to really freaking Siberia. Like,
I don't know how to pronounce it.
Argentina.
Kazakhstan has some of the best wheeling that I've
Kazakhstan?
seen. Yeah,
like
Pakistan.
Borat,
Yeah,
where Borat's from.
Pakistan, Afghanistan, amazing wheeling, great overlanding.
Well,
Japan-
very rocky.
Japan
up
has
there.
great. North Korea or South Korea, not North Korea.
Japan's-
Hey, North Korea.
Japan's-
We don't know it's in
Japan's-
North Korea. They might have.
There's
good
so
wheeling.
many badge of honor trails in North Korea.
What's up, Jesse? Shout out. Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
In Kazakhstan, vodka country.
Anyways,
Language sounds like diesel startup.
just the idea that there's so many boxes I could check off.
Yep.
Like right now, I'm like, it started for me. I was like, how much local stuff can I do? And I want to feel like I've done all the local stuff,
Yep.
and I feel like I've done that. And now it's like, how many badge of honors can I get? Because it's kind of like Jeeps put the bar up there. Like, can you go and do these places? And it's like, all right, yeah, I want to go. So,
Right.
so when I like set those boxes, and then it's gonna get bigger and it's gonna go out. But maybe I'm just weird. I'm a car nut, like car guy. Like I
You
could
don't say.
I could probably give up on the off-roading stuff tomorrow and just build C10s for the rest of my life, or like mini trucks. Like I just like
Right.
10th grade.
Right.
I'd like a Honda Del Sol right now. I just want to rip a target top at 60 miles an hour for some reason. Like it just
Right.
sounds fun. And power slide it.
You should have
into
told
a-
me back in the day. I could have sold you one.
Right.
Well, thanks to you, I didn't buy an S2000 because I couldn't fit in your car. I want to do.
The funny thing about the Del Sol, though,
Yeah.
it's a very small car,
Mhm.
huge, like cabin space.
I've driven one. Miata's the same
super
way.
comfortable,
Miata's the same way.
and it even has a giant trunk for the size.
I want one.
Time for a Z3.
Beamer.
Oh, I
As
stepped
a
off in that one,
BMW
didn't I?
owner, I'm going to say ner on this one.
Okay.
To be fair, there is a spare tire on the trunk with me out.
To be fair.
Aren't most C3s automatic? Or like all of them?
No, you can
You
get
get
a
a manual?
manual. My grandfather actually had one in a manual.
Okay. A lot of the ones I
And
see are automatic.
It was fun. He lived up in the mountains. It was fun just go up to his house, rip it around, except for the fact that it was a little bit older and the seats were wore out. So every time you go to brake, the seat tracks would move.
Mm.
You'd accelerate, the seats would move. So that uneasy feeling of just the car not feeling planted just completely turned me off of them.
It's planted, but you were not.
Exactly. And that's not what I want to feel. Like if I'm braking hard into a corner, I want to feel like that the car like hunch down, go in. I don't want to be moving still.
No.
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 No, you want halfway through that corner to be like, Oh, more power.
Mm-hmm.
More power. More
Yep.
power. All right, where's the next one?
So, do you have a favorite build? I mean, you've been there, you've done that, you've driven most. I mean, you've got the newest of the new. You've been XJs. You've been, you got a Comanche. I mean, you got your LJ. What's your favorite build personally that you enjoy doing for a customer?
My two-door JK.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a 16 JK. The way I built it was exactly how I wanted to build it. I had some help from sponsors to get the parts on it that I normally couldn't afford. Every trail I ran, I knew I was going to do it. It wasn't like there wasn't like a thought, and then I kind of got that like I don't know, the persona, like when we go out wheeling, like if Brad gets stuck, we're not trying it because that Jeep just was like almost like magic. It was awesome. I mean, it didn't have a Dana 44 up front, but we had 37s, which truss. It had 2 sleeves, 513 gears, covered in armor from JCR. I mean, the thing just it's in the office right now on a magazine.
It smells like tater tots.
Smells like tater tots. That's my first magazine though. But the thing with that one is I drove it from Georgia to the Rubicon Trail and did the Rubicon. And the Rubicon was my first taste of like West Coast wheeling and West Coast rock crawling. And that memory will follow that Jeep. And only sold it because putting car seats in a two-door JK is difficult.
Right.
It is possible.
It is possible. But our second vehicle was a TJ. So something had to give. So I bought a Cherokee, sold that, traded in for a new Cherokee, and that was kind of tough. So I do miss that one. Besides that, I usually am pretty heartless when I sell them. It's like I've had my fun with you,
right?
And gone. Never done that with like an ex-girlfriend, but they're like my ex-girlfriend.
Right.
And I've always I've always wanted to build an LJ, and unfortunately, this LJ has been pretty mean to me. So it should be my favorite build, but it's unfortunately not. And I'm going to build another one in the future.
It's just got too much personality for you.
It's got way too much
Since Durhamtown, everything's just
pre-Durhamtown. I took it to South Dakota, and it was mean to me. Yeah, but I ran into a tree. That was great.
So you got a wrap up question.
We have 4 minutes left in this podcast. Anchor lets me do an hour. So Johnny said he had one more wrap up question. Thank you, Brandon, for your
I do. So I don't know anybody that's familiar with Jeepin Bubba or any of his podcasts or anything.
They all are.
Yeah. So he wraps up every single video, podcast, anything with the same catchphrase, right? And I've known him for life. I've watched the same TV show, which is his favorite TV show. And then this TV show.
Literally my favorite TV show of all time.
This spokesperson says the same thing. I never knew this going on my whole life. Everybody has seen this. So I'll let you explain everything. But why in the heck did you choose Eat Your Prunes?
Yeah.
And why a prune of anything?
Regularity.
There you go.
Okay, I got 3 minutes and I'll try to get it across. Bob Barker is the best TV host of all time, best personality that's ever been on TV. Regis Philbin, pretty good, but Bob Barker beats him all day. I hope you saw him in Happy Gilmore. I mean,
Price is Right.
Literally, Price is Right. Drew Carey tried, not the same.
Is it Drew Carey?
Drew Carey's the guy now, and he still says the same catchphrase.
Oh, I was thinking Jim Carrey. So.
No, not Jim Carrey.
That would be weird.
Not the mask.
Yeah.
Anyways, at the end of every, pretty much, if I was homesick or before I went to school, and it's still the same way, daytime TV about 10 o'clock, here comes The Price is Right.
Yeah.
Best show ever. I'm like, that dude faces 316! And you're like, I want to win the Showcase Showdown. But at the end, Bob Barker looks at the TV and he goes, do your best to control the pet population, spay and neuter your pets.
I never knew
I'm
that.
like, that's the most random catchphrase to say at the end of a TV show, but it caught my attention. So I started thinking, and one day I'm like, I'm just going to throw out a catchphrase. Whenever it comes to me, I'm going to say, but I happen to watch, this is super weird too in meta, this Hey Arnold episode one time, and this old man was flying away with pigeons. Pigeons were carrying him off.
Yeah.
And he said, "Fly towards the sun and eat your prunes." And I just thought eat your prunes would be an epic thing to finish with. Keeps you regular, good in vitamin C. It's got probiotics for your stomach in it. It's the best thing you can eat. It's plums that are dehydrated, so they last a long time.
It's candy.
If you buy Sunsweets ones,
Nope.
you can take them with you anywhere in your pockets. Kids love them. Old people eat them to keep them regular.
Old people, literally.
Oh,
That's it.
I mean, these things are fantastic.
You can find them on the bottom shelf at your local grocery store because nobody else gets.
Well, I'll have plenty of them this weekend at Windrock. Just come find me, and I'll give them to you.
They are healthy, though. I will say that they are good.
I will admit, when I started the catchphrase, keeping me. I mean, I'm in tip-top fighting shape right now.
I will say that Bubba has made progression since he started.
Everyone in the shop doesn't believe me, but you set up a fight between me and either Ronda Rousey or a kangaroo, and I'll fight him right now. I'm ready
Just
to go.
not me. I can't sacrifice another pair of underwear.
Me and Andrew wrestled, and I had eaten my prunes, so he didn't know what was going down. Hey, we got 30 seconds, so let's wrap this bad boy up. You just heard 60 seconds of my trail team coming in and out, asking me the questions. It's been absolutely fun. We're going to Windrock this weekend, so that'll be, what's the first day of it? The 20th. So if you're in the area, Oliver Springs, come and see us. We'll be up there. There's plenty more events. If you want to hear about them, go to facebook.com, Black Bear Off-Road, look at the trail team. Got another event coming up soon, Nemo Tunnel, Dawsonville Trail Cleanup. Last 10 seconds. If I could tell you one thing that can influence your entire life and help you in the greatest way, it'd be to eat your prunes. Hope you have an adventure in your future. I'm Jeepin Bubba, and we'll be seeing you.
And maximize it all.
I'll shout out Shelby for giving this one question.
Jesse really digs the Z3 hardtop with its funky style. We'll have to agree to disagree, Jesse. Keep pushing until the tires squeal. There seems to be a polarizing ideology with build. You're either heartless or you can't get rid of anything. Would y'all agree? If you love them and they love you, they'll come back to you. And they haven't come back except for once. My Nissan 720 came back to me once, and I had to sell it to move to Michigan, and the motor blew 2 weeks later. Sorry, Rob. Didn't know. The Miata came back.
It's in Michigan.
With Kyle had done a lot of audio work to it. So, yeah. Well, it slid different after that.
Did anybody ask any questions in the comments?
There was a lot of haze. Haze from Jose AC, Team SUV, CK,
He
Jesse.
died a lot in the
and,
comments. He died a lot. I hope he's
He died laughing a lot. Carp Fishing Georgia JP says, I'm going to buy a Gladiator this year. What one do you suggest? If your money can afford it, buy a Rubicon.
Yeah.
Because, but the cool thing is that a lot of people don't know, all JTs have Dana
Packing
44s front and rear. So you're not missing out on a bigger, smaller axle. But what you're missing out on is 410 gears, a better transfer case, and lockers. Not to mention you can get a metal bumper package. And don't forget to get that tow package. Because if you don't get the tow package, you're not getting the same rear end. You're not getting – you basically can't tow. But with that max tow package, you can tow about 9,000 pounds. So if you got the money, do that. If not, buy a Sport. If you can't afford a Rubicon, buy a Sport. Everything else is just cosmetics, and you can fix that cheaper yourself. Jesse installed a Vector Off-Road dash bar.
Saw that.
Magazines stepping up. Oh, new sleeping bag. I'm ready. Yeah, Jesse from S3 Mag is going to be at Windrock this weekend. Can't wait to see you. He is the leader of the Vibe Tribe, my brother. Good to see you. Dude, we're gonna be eating some tacos this weekend. Mucho carne. David Harris, what's going on? What's up, David? I think this is David Harris that has my old XJ. I am ready to get some bedliner sprayed on this Manchi, so that'll be great. Carp fishing, Georgia. Do you like carp fishing in Georgia? Because we got a lot of other fish. We got like striper and largemouth bass. But I'll tell you what.
Yeah, catfish.
If you like carp fishing, you go over
Lake Lanier?
West Point, and fish with a tater top. That's the way to catch them.
A tater top.
That's the one. So
West Point's a
Jesse's
great
got
park.
2 king cakes, and he's slowly cooking fajita steak for tacos. Slow cooking fajita steak for tacos.
If you don't
Okay.
like cake.
Hey, carp fish in Georgia loves it. All right, man. Hey, just get them out. I don't want them, so take them with you. Make some sushi or
Catch 'em all.
you tournament fish. Is there a tournament fishing for carp, or are you just? I'm confused.
JP.
Are you Asian? With Baja Chipotle marinade. Sounds good, Jesse. It sounds delicious. I hear Asians are the only ones who have the proper knives to cut up carp to eat them. Yeah, he is. Yes, you're. No, he's. You are a tournament fishing carp fisher. Do
You said yeah and then no. So which one's yes and which one's no?
Do you fish in backyards of Asian people? Because they've got the biggest carp. Just letting you know.
Koi fish, not carp.
They're in the same family.
They all think.
Don't eat carp.
One's like 4 feet, one's like maybe a foot and a half.
You can big
Active
boys.
replies.
Yes,
Yeah.
he's literally
Yeah.
saying this as he's talking to them.
Yeah.
He said don't eat carp.
I wouldn't either, man. Wouldn't either.
What's he fishing for?
He's tournament fishing carp.
They're
I didn't know there was a big carp fishing thing. We tournament fish from it. That's awesome.
What's he just throwing on the bank?
Hey, man, I'll
He
tell
gets
you
money
what.
in the bank from them fish.
If you need a black bear sticker for your boat, you holler at me. I'll send one to you. I want to represent. We'll get you in a hat, maybe a patch.
I mean,
There's
we hate
shirts.
carp. I don't like carp. Do you like carp?
You're not supposed to eat
I want to
carp.
get in a carp fishing tournament.
I hate carp.
I recently
Lake Lanier will
acquired.
get you an award-winning.
I
boat.
recently acquired a boat. I'm storing it so I get to use it. So maybe I'll get into this tournament. I don't know if a 15-foot tri-hole with a 60-foot end rig's gonna cut it. So we're gonna rip some lips, boy.
There you go.
With a tater tot. Hey, what's the best? What do you lure fish for them, or are you out there with a Zebco 33 and a piece of bread? Kyle hit. Shout out to my trail crew. What's up, Kyle? Love y'all. And sorry I couldn't be there. It's okay, buddy.
El Presidente.
El Presidente will be at Windrock soon enough. Bank fish at Pay Lakes. Okay. There's one up in Jefferson that's a big catfish lake. Is that what you're talking about? Something like that?
You could probably catch. What do you think the biggest carp in Lake Lanier is probably at 5 feet?
They tag them.
About 5 feet. They tag the big ones.
Yeah. they
12-hour tournament.
Like great whites, they tag and track.
Is there big sponsors for these things, like Monster Energy out there for the carp fishing Pay Lakes thing? I'm interested. I might be a title sponsor for the carp tournament.
Dude,
We're gonna shut the shop down and go fishing.
Yeah.
we'll show up 20 Jeeps deep.
Is this like the CFTA or something?
You'll
Like
have a whole fan
Carp
squad
fishing
out
tournaments
there
of
with
America
airborne
or
and everything.
I want to get in on that. Thanks for all the info, carp fishing, Georgia.
12-hour tournaments. Wow,
Carp fishing, fella.
that is commitment, man.
Man, you'd be
12
tough
hours,
to get
12
into that.
hours out on the wire,
Easy,
on the
Nicole.
water. That's
Can you catch them from a kayak?
He says they're bank fishing.
dude.
So
I'm
we could.
Yeah.
stuck on 12
Not
hours.
here.
12 hours out on the lake. That's crazy.
That's a lot of beer.
That's a lot of beer, a lot of
A
food.
lot of tournament fishers.
That's a lot of decisions to
Because
make
they're operating
when
motor
things
vehicles.
happen because you are going to have to go to the
The big
bathroom
ones
in the
have
middle of the water.
$25,000 payouts. Whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can make that work.
tournament.
Yeah. We're in. Sorry, we're not
Win
your
4 tournaments a
competition.
year, you're set.
We're not your competition. Me and Avery. He's my ringer. We're about to be carp fishing tournament.
Sorry, fella.
We're in. We're switching to carp.
We're gonna open up a GoFundMe account.
You
for
might have
Avery's
to.
haircut
You might have
in
to
case you're
step up
out.
that ultralight rod though for.
I got
carp.
2 of them.
David Harris says, "Wish I could go wheeling with y'all at Windrock this weekend, but we'll be going to Iron Gap Trail on Saturday.
I don't know where
The
that is.
XJ is ready to rock and roll. It is that David Harris. New ball joints for axle seals. Hope the motor's doing good, David. And I hear it's pretty muddy up at Iron Gap, so just tell us
everywhere in Georgia right now.
tell us what you think. Get back to us.
Going
Where's
anywhere,
Iron
and
Gap?
they tell-
Where's
they
that?
shave you for going out.
Someone- Jesse, Jesse's in on the fishing. Jesse was a lifeguard at a YMCA for a long time, so that's a good guy to have in your team.
Shout out.
I don't know if it was a YMCA. It was a camp of some sort of Florida, but it was a long time lifeguard. He's the guy I'd want.
Lifeguard YMCA. Some summer
Yeah.
camp.
He lived at the camp. He was like resident camp lifeguard guy. So
I know a lot of people that are like
definitely planning. Iron Gap is in Tennessee. Oh, I thought you were talking about somewhere else. So yeah, Tennessee. Dover represent.
What do we say? What do you call people from Tennessee? Y'all Georgians or people from Georgia? What's
Tennesseans.
it? Tennesseans or Tennesseeites?
What?
They're Tennesseans.
Tennesseites?
Yeah. No, Tennessee.
Tennesseites from somebody from Tennessee.
No,
They're
You might be a little sleepy.
they're volunteers, but they got a sad football team, and
That has been caught for
the funny part
cheating in
is
many ways.
their best town's Nashville, but nobody from Tennessee likes
My
Nashville.
goodness, you get caught. That's what's bad.
Like at least when Florida and Alabama got caught cheating.
You want
they were
$3 grand?
National champs, yeah. Oh, 1 in 15. Dang, we got caught.
At that point, you should turn a blind eye and be like, they're trying.
They stand out. It's like, those are limbs. You've been looking at them? Yeah.
What are you looking at?
They're great. Limbs.
I seen a lot of them, the limbs, man. I like that.
Limbs. So they're designed so this is super off topic from Jeeps or anything. So
People wear shoes when they
yeah, so these are waterproof boots, Lems, LEMS. So they're barefoot boots. So they're designed to be the shape of your barefoot if you were put on the ground. Most shoes are not designed that way. And squish your shoe. So this gives you better support
Okay.
and lets your foot just like naturally.
I wear
Back in the
Crocs.
day, they walked around barefoot and didn't have all. I mean, we don't know. We're assuming that they didn't have all the problems that we have now. So barefoot
They weren't
shoes
as
are
fat.
limited.
They weren't as fat. They didn't live as long.
If I could hike my leg up here, I would show you these boots. This is kind of
David Saddlebrook Windsor gave me the shoes I'm wearing now. I have no idea what brand they are, but they're composite toe. Lifeguard medic assistant director. He's been playing through it all year. Well, it's getting loud and rowdy in here. We hope you've enjoyed this. If it's something you want to see again, let us know in the comments. Thanks for everybody who's commented live. Love that you guys are in here. Yo had a pair of skeletos.
same type of thing, but it just doesn't have like the insert
Skeletos
toes.
seem dangerous to me.
Those are the things. Those are the shoes
Yeah.
that have the toes, right?
I don't like that. That's
I've
pretty
never
sad.
worn
Get you a pair of Crocs. They'll never fill you. David Harris finally figured out the engine problem. Ended up being a great position sensor.
on your Amazon account.
Awesome to hear, David. We'll be chatting soon. Hope you guys have a good trip this weekend. I know you guys heard it before, but eat your prunes. And hope to see you on the trail. We'll be seeing you. Thanks everybody that joined us.
Sorry,
Every single time he
I'm
goes.
miserable on podcast.